Michael Geiger, 41 yards for Michigan State to win the football game. And he's got it. He's won the football game. And the celebration is on for the Spartans. They have knocked off Ohio State.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in the play calling. I'm disappointed in the situations we were put in. And I wish it all played out differently. How we lost, I feel like we just weren't putting the right opportunity to win this game. We weren't put in the right situations to win this game. And like, I don't think Michigan State was better than us. They weren't, but we didn't execute. I mean, honestly, I can't speak for the play calling. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what they were seeing.
Clearly, an emotional loss to Michigan State was Ohio State's first loss in 24 games, and apparently running back Ezekiel Elliott, as we just heard, that was also supposedly his final home game. Elliott calling out the coaches. Skip, what should Urban Meyer do now?
Before I answer that, Molly, Stephen A., I have a whole lot of sympathy for Ezekiel Elliott, what happened to him on Saturday. He was crushed, emotionally devastated, because I thought this was potentially his Heisman moment, his Heisman opportunity on a pretty national stage to throw up a big number, maybe go for 150, 200 yards rushing and say, I'm right there with Derrick Henry. I'm right in the race to the wire. Averaging 142 yards rushing coming into that game.
Yep.
And as you know, after that opening touchdown drive, it wasn't opening the game, but early in the second quarter, 7-0 touchdown drive, Ezekiel Elliott carried the ball 4 times for 6 more yards. And he wound up with 12 carries for 33 yards.
33.
And they wound up with 132 yards of total offense and 5 first downs at home against a rival, if not the arch rival. So you're devastated. You don't think, you blurt. And yet what he blurted, the reason I have so much sympathy was everything he said I agreed with. I do pin this on Urban Meyer. I thought he was awful calling plays. He's got co-coordinators. I don't know how much of their input they have. Remember, Tom Herman left from last year when he was on fire at the end of the year. Went to Houston, and congratulations, because your UConn Huskies upset Houston over the weekend.
That was going to be the A block, but you know, those Cowboys, I get it.
About that.
We're so touched. It means so much.
It does mean so much. That was a big win, actually. It was.
Congratulations. We're bowl eligible.
Okay, so now back to Zeke. So the point is, they're a mess on offense thanks to the head coach, and they're a bigger mess in the bigger picture because you don't play the musical quarterback game. I'm sorry, I said during the offseason, it's Cardale Jones. Go with him and stick with him. He had a rocky start to the year. He threw some picks. We know about all that. He would have won this game, I believe. Cardale wins this game when JT couldn't win the game because they couldn't run a lick after a while on that Michigan State front that was just fierce and rock solid. And after a while, you just got to loosen it up. I know it was windy, I know it was rainy, but you got to fling the football the way Cardale was flinging it at the end of the year last year. So that's all on Urban Meyer's doorstep. Now, conclusion, answer to question. Okay. I'm sorry, if you're Urban Meyer, you have to defend your authority here. You got to sit Zeke down. You can't play him against Michigan. I'm sorry, you can't have that kind of insubordination. You can't allow one of your stars to attack you, to shred your credibility to the media in ways that we don't see often anywhere in college football, especially in Urban Meyer's program. So this is just me. If I'm Urban Meyer, I have to take a stand here. I have to pull this young man aside. He's already effectively quit anyway, and say, I just can't play you against Michigan because I have to show I'm still in charge here. Understand what you said, even though I think the public at large, Buckeye Nation at large, would agree mostly with the sentiments that he expressed. I still think Urban has to take a stand, and I guess he's going to speak here in just a few minutes, so we'll see how he responds.
Just want to make sure I'm clear on your position. You're saying bench him for one game.
Yep, for Michigan.
Not bench him for the Big Ten championship game
if it gets
or
there.
bowl game. If it gets there, or bowl game. You're not saying that, are you?
I'm not sure it's going to get there, but go ahead.
Right, but I'm saying they're going to make a bowl. They'll make a
No,
bowl
not
game.
for the bowl game.
Right,
if he wants to play, that would be his last game at Ohio State, according to him.
Right. If you're just talking one game, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. I think that he deserves to be benched for one game. I feel bad from this perspective. Every word he said was absolutely right.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott was absolutely right. Urban Meyer even admitted, not that he was right because he didn't know what Ezekiel Elliott said at the time, but he said that he was entirely too conservative. He did a horrendous job of play calling. When you consider the 132 total yards, it was the worst in Urban Meyer's professional career. It was his worst performance, you know, calling plays. Okay, we get that. If you're Ezekiel Elliott, here's where the problem really, really lies. And it's a lot of folks out there that need to hear this. Turn that video off, please. Here's the deal, okay? This is what needs to be said. Ezekiel Elliott, let's reiterate, was absolutely right. Urban Meyer, this was his first loss in the Big Ten in years, okay? The man has been pretty close to flawless. He's won multiple national titles, okay? He has the cachet. There are moments in Ezekiel Elliott's career, although he's been relatively stellar, has never averaged less than 6 yards a carry. He's got 1,400 yards, but he does have 40 less carries this year. He does have almost 400 less yards this year rushing than he did last year. So you have to take into account the fact that all of those things probably are affecting him, particularly when a national championship is on the line and you think you may have just blown it, but you don't throw your coach under the bus. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't get away with it. The reason why I say to you, I want it to be just a game, but I don't think it should be more than that. Because let's understand something. It's perfectly within Urban Meyer's right to sit there and say, since you said you're leaving and you've already just quit on me, bye. You know what I mean? Urban Meyer could actually do that and get away with it. But I don't want him to do that because this kid has been too good for this program. Too good of an athlete, too good of a person to just throw his future away because he got emotional after a devastating loss. He doesn't deserve that, okay? But at the same time, you can't have a kid going out there and being insubordinate against your coach, a.k.a. boss, all right? And operate with impunity. There's no kind of punishment whatsoever. You can't let that slide because that's going to open the floodgates for others to think that they can get away with it too. And that's not the real world. In the real world, if you call out your boss publicly, there's usually a price that you pay. It is not something. It is not something that you do. It is ramifications. And Ezekiel Elliott cannot be immune from all of that.
I must say,
that can't happen.
We just showed his tweet of, was it last night, I guess?
Right.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure when he tweeted.
Last night. I got to tell you, I didn't love the tweet. And if I'm Urban Meyer, I don't love it either because it's not a laughing matter what he did.
But I don't think it was laughing. I think that what I think it's actually a little worse than that. He wasn't laughing it off. He's sitting there like, I guess I'm the bad guy. In other words, y'all got it wrong. I don't. He's not.
You could say that.
He's looking at the veracity of his statement as opposed to how inappropriate it is to call out your boss, who is one of the most respected bosses in all of college football. You can't get away with doing that. What I would say about Urban Meyer.
His ear on that one. Don't hit send. You're not helping yourself,
But the other part is that you look at him and you look at Cardale Jones. And Urban Meyer has to be careful because it gives the impression that there's more than one person, more than Ezekiel Elliott, that's not happy with the program, as opposed to guys that say, all right, I'm a stud, I'm going to go to the NFL and make money. They seem to be given the impression, just get me the hell out of here. And so you don't want that as a coach if you're Urban Meyer, and that's something that somebody needs to ask him to address with his press conference
I would
today.
have advised the young man to stay off Twitter, but I suppose if he felt strongly enough, if he had tweeted, I stand behind what I said in the locker room, but I regret saying it, that might suffice. That might be enough to placate his boss.
All he could have said was, boss or no boss, I respect Coach Urban Meyer. He said, but damn, look at what I've done. How could you give me 12 carries? Like, even though that might have been bad, you can understand it. He just went a little bit further in terms of the play calling. And what Ezekiel Elliott has to pay attention to, which is the point I really wanted to make, is that you know this better than me. This is the kind of stuff that'll hurt you come NFL draft time.
It can.
With his ability, they'll still look at him and say, oh, you going to throw us under the bus, too, if you come here? You got coaches. You think about the NFL scouting combine and what they put these guys through with the questions that they ask them. I hope it doesn't hurt this kid. He's a good kid. He's been performing.
By the way,
elite guy. He can really play.
I would want him on my NFL team.
So would I. So would I. But you know how the NFL is. They find an excuse not to give you what you deserve, as opposed to giving you what you deserve.
Glass half full. Maybe he'll learn that lesson now and won't have to deal with it at the next level.
Hope so.
You know who else doesn't want cameras and microphones in front of his face right now? That would be Darrelle Revis. Check out today's headline in the New York Daily News. Wrong Island. They're so mean there in New York, Stephen A. Darrelle Revis exposed and gangrene loses again. Are the Jets done? Find out next.